So I'll hand over to JJ. Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Jean-Jacques Halans, JJ for short. I'm from Belgium. I work as a Java web developer at Clear2Pay. We build banking applications on IBM WebSphere, Oracle, DB2, kind of the boring stuff. So after hours, I blog about JavaScript, web standards, CSS. I'm involved with Free Australia Wireless. I'm involved with Barcamp Sydney, which is on next Saturday, so I hope to see you all there. And another project is MapAnui. MapAnui is a pocket map for your browser. It's a mapping widget, a maplet, whatever you want to call it. It puts Google Maps at your fingertips, and it's available at mapanui.com. I was looking for a project with Google Maps, jQuery, and microformats, and I was inspired by John Elsup's X-Ray and MRI bookmarklets. Bookmarklets are cross-browser, cross-platform, so they're not Firefox extensions. MapAnui is a floatable div. It's around the Google Maps API key, domain key, and the JavaScript security restrictions by using an iframe for the Google Maps, and then communicate through Google through a fragment identifier. There's also a where is version, which was one of 5 finalists in their Beyond the Mashup contest. So it's a bookmarklet. You drag it into your bookmarks bar, and it's right there at your fingertips. It's an interactive bookmark, which means it's not just a regular URL. It's a JavaScript URL which injects a script from MapAnui into your page. So you look up something like a holiday home, for instance. You have an address here, Regent Street. You click the MapAnui bookmark it, and you map the address. Like, this is an example of a corporate site which would hold the offices, and it automatically maps all the addresses into MapAnui. That's done through microformats. Microformats are a way to add data to your HTML code, so that applications can interpret, parse that information, and can be searched, can be used alternatively next to your website. So it's supported by Yahoo, Google Maps, BBC. Still, the developer take-up is kind of minimal. So, but we might see that change because Firefox 3.1 and Internet Explorer 8 will have more support for that. There are different kinds of microformats. Like you have microformats for events and contacts, HCard, HCalendar, geodata, HAtom, and so forth. So when there's no microformatted address data, you can just manually enter the address information in the search form, and it will automatically put that information onto a Google map. Very straightforward. You can also easily add a map to your site and a virtual address card by the minimum information is street, city, and country. It automatically looks up the geolocation, and then it generates the HTML for you, and then you can test it right at that page to see if the location is where you want it to be. Else you just change the geolocation there through, for instance, Google Maps, and then you just copy-paste that information into your website. There's no need to learn JavaScript or microformats or the Google Maps API. Simply copy-paste this. So again, here you see the microformatted information. An additional feature is that when you print that page with the MapAnui activated, it will print the map at the bottom of the page. Of course, this is just a mapping application. What if we were to add GIS data to it? For instance, with every block, we could measure this with every block data, and you could extend MapAnui to include your own GIS data. So we could have a job site or a travel site with some or a job site with whatever. So get the bookmark of your addresses data with the marker formats. Get the bookmark at MapAnui.com or contact me at Halans@gmail.com or Twitter.